Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my player ratings from our 1-0 win against AC Milan in the Europa League round of 16 second leg. Dean Henderson, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he made some good saves in the game. Also made some good claims from crosses. Dean Henderson has had a run of games now, and like I've said so many times, I think he's reliable enough now to become our number one. Paul Scholes reckons Dean Henderson has taken over as our first choice goalkeeper. And another clean sheet for Dean Henderson. By the way, he's not conceded in the Premier League so far this year. Dean Henderson should have kept out AC Milan's equaliser in the first leg because he got a hand to it. But made up, for a good performance in the second leg yesterday night. So 7 out of 10 for him. And Juan Basaka, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Looked very, very leggy, didn't he, in the game? I thought Juan Basaka looked much better in the second half than he did in the first half. 7 out of 10 for him. Victor Lindelof, I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. Put a very good performance out, and he made a vital interception towards the end of the first half. And I thought he kept Zlatan at bay well in the second half. Harry Maguire, I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. Very good performance by Maguire. Very good defensively. Luke Shaw, I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. I thought Luke Shaw was immense. Got forward well. Got into some very good positions. And made some good overlapping runs. By far this season, Luke Shaw has been our player of the season. So 8 out of 10 for him. Fred, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. That's reflecting on his second half performance because I thought Fred was very poor in the first half. But in the second half, kept the ball well. He got forward more, so that's good. Scott Mctomin, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. For large periods of the first half, he was actually anonymous, but he looked slightly better in the second half. It's just a 6 out of 10 for Mctomin. Bruno Fernandez, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Don't think he enjoyed a brilliant game. Marcus Rashford, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Marcus Rashford did look off the pace. Obviously, he came off with injury. Rashford is actually now a doubt for the game against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. So I think Rashford does need a rest. Daniel James, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought Daniel James worked his socks off, made some very, very good runs. And Daniel James, he's back in the team now. He's been playing a lot of games in the last, month or so. But at one point, he was out of the team for a while. And Mason Greenwood, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He enjoyed a pretty good game. Mason Greenwood's done very, very well since he broke into our first team squad. Paul Pogba, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Paul Pogba obviously came on, made an instant impact, scored the goal. It was from a tight angle as well, and it was a good dummy from Paul Pogba before he hit the ball. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for Paul Pogba. And Solskjaer said, Paul Pogba has been a miss. Yesterday was the first game Paul Pogba had played since the 3-3 draw with Everton. Pogba has just come back from a thigh injury. I think Paul Pogba is going to stay at Manchester United potentially past the summer. So that is your player ratings from our 1-0 win against AC Milan. But I thought it was a good away performance by Manchester United. In the first half, we looked quite passive in our approach, but it was much better in the second half. It was 2-1 on aggregate overall over the course of the two legs. It was a much better performance by Man United in the second leg than the first leg at Old Trafford, because for large periods of the first leg at Old Trafford, AC Milan were dominant. They had some good chances. They had 2 disallowed goals, one from Raphael for offside and the other one from a handball by Kessie. The only positive was, from Man United perspective, in the first leg was Amad Diallo Traore coming off the bench and scoring his first goal for the club, and it was a very, very good header, and it was a lovely through ball by Bruno Fernandez. Amad Diallo Traore looks a good asset for the first team. We got him in a deal worth £37 million. We had some chances in the first leg, Harry Maguire missed an absolute city, hit the post from a yard out. It's probably the worst miss I've seen in football history. James had a good chance in the first leg, just went wide. And Martial had a good chance, produced a good save from Donnarumma. But it is a very, very good result for Man United. And it's good to get to the Europa League quarter-finals. AC Milan are a good team. Don't forget, they have won the Champions League 7 times. And AC Milan are sitting second in Serie A. AC Milan were actually the favourites to win the Europa League. Be interesting to see who we get in the draw. But the Europa League is definitely a priority for Man United, because it is a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. We got to the Europa League semi-finals last season, lost 2-1 to Sevilla. And we won the Europa League back in 2017 under Mourinho. We beat Ajax in the final 2-0. So this win against Milan gives us a lot of confidence going into the game against Leicester at the King Power Stadium in the FA Cup quarter-final. Be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches that game. Obviously, Anthony Martial and Edison Cavani didn't play any part yesterday night against AC Milan, because they didn't make the trip, because Anthony Martial has been out with a hip injury, and Edison Cavani, something happened with him in a training session. And obviously Marcus Rashford's now injured, so he's a doubt. Donnie Van Der Beek, he has returned, but he didn't play any part yesterday night. And obviously now De Gea has returned. We did win our last league game. We beat West Ham 1-0 at Old Trafford. Reflecting on that win, that I can say that assures us a top 4 finish, and obviously that was back-to-back wins in the Premier League for Man United. Solskjaer, prior to the game against Milan, says trophies are an ego thing. So he's basically said clubs like Man United, trophies no longer prove success. And he said that in regards to some other managers and other clubs. But Solskjaer must win a trophy at Manchester United this year because that marks progress. So I'm saying the exact same thing as what Gary Neville recently said. And the Europa League is a chance of a trophy, and the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy. You know, we haven't won a trophy yet under Ollie, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017. But Solskjaer, like I said, he does deserve at least another season at Manchester United. You know, Solskjaer has agreed to sign a new contract worth £9 million a year. So we've given him a pay rise. Sources at Old Trafford did say that talks are set to begin any day on the new deal. Because later on this month, Solskjaer enters the final year of his 3-year contract. But I think he does deserve a new contract, reflecting on the progress he's made. Man United are basically planning a long-term future under Solskjaer. But like I've said, I don't think he is the long-term manager for Man United, but I hope I'm proven wrong. Definitely the best manager since Ferguson, because we've enjoyed very, very good periods under Ollie where we have seen consistency and where he has got the best out of the team and he's improved certain players. But we have got to credit Ollie in quite a few aspects. You know, he's now got us to the Europa League quarter-final, winning the FA Cup quarter-final, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to City. Got a very good away record, haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. Did well last season in his first full season, got us to 3 semi-finals, got us a 3rd place finish and got us qualification for the Champions League. You can say there has been progress from last season. You know, Solskjaer's made good signings. He's spent almost £300 million at the club. You know, he's also got rid of a lot of players since he got recommended in. So they are the positives. And reflecting how long Solskjaer's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience. And he's learned quite a bit on the job. You know, Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he came to us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. And his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He actually ended up getting Cardiff relegated. Don't forget, Ollie managed the Man United reserve team from 2008 to 2010. So he watched some of his team grow and develop. But Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. He knew he had to come in and get the right players in. He knew he had to come in and bring the consistency in that back. And, you know, to be honest with you, Solskjaer has done well. To say he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and I think when he was close to getting sacked, he handled the pressure really, really well. Because we have enjoyed very bad periods under him where he can turn around and say, yeah, lucky not to be sacked, but Arbord have got a soft stance on him with him being a club legend. You know, he's been Man United manager now over 2 years. I think there's a very, very good chance that Solskjaer's going to get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window. because obviously, you know, we've got John Mctomin as a director of football, and John Murtough knows the club inside out because he's been at Man United for like 7-8 years. Plus we've got Darren Fletcher as our technical director, and he knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. Plus there's Michael Carrick there, who knows the club well. You know, Kieran McKenna's also there. Solskjaer's had the transfer summit with our new recruitment team. You know, he was discussing our transfer targets and discussing our transfer plans for the summer in general. You know, Ollie's set to have his final say on our transfer incoming deals. Woodward did a statement not so long ago, and he did say the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, the board are backing Ollie, and Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Solskjaer. Even enjoying them bad periods, he did assure that Solskjaer's job was safe. But the board has been one of the biggest issues at the club for a while, because for a long time now our recruitment policy's been poor, and the managers that we've had haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in, and we've overpaid for players in recent years. But hopefully this is all going to change in the summer. Our transfer budget has been revealed. It's £80 million. A lot of Man United fans are shocked in that aspect, because obviously £80 million is not enough for us to get the players that we want to recommend in. So yeah, we're going to sell players in the summer, so that'll bolster our transfer budget. He said Solskjaer's planning to sell 4 players, and he hopes to raise as much as £60 million, so that would take our transfer budget to £140 million. But there has been a lot of players on our agenda. Apparently Man United have identified 5 key transfer targets for the summer transfer window. So we're looking to get a striker in. We're looking to get a right winner in. Not a right winner, sorry. We're looking at a striker in. We're looking to get a defensive midfielder in. We're looking to get a centre-half in. I think we're also looking to get a right-back in to provide competition for Juan Basaka. And we're also been looking to get a goalkeeper in. Now, it's actually recently said that Solskjaer has agreed with the new recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing at Manchester United. West Ham are demanding £80 million for Declan Rice if they are to allow him to go. Earlier on this season, it said that West Ham were considering lowering their asking price to £50 million. Declan Rice was relentlessly linked with a move to Chelsea last year. That's obviously when Frank Lampard was in charge. Declan Rice was Frank Lampard's top target. Lampard was infuriated when he missed out on him. Now, the main explanations I take him at Manchester United is because he's well proven in the Premier League. He's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. He breaks up play well. So that's why. Declan Rice is predominantly a holding midfielder, but he can also play as a centre-half. Rice has been at West Ham 7 years. He's made 127 appearances in the Premier League, scored around 4 goals. He's got a contract at West Ham till 2024. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for a while. But we're seeing Declan Rice as a ideal long-term replacement for Matic. There's been recent narratives coming out regarding Nikola Milenkovic. Now, Gazzetta dello Sport have already said that Man United are the clear favourites to sign Nikola Milenkovic from Fiorentina. And we have been in negotiations with his agent. Apparently, he's already packing his bags, ready for the move to the Premier League. He's turned down a new contract at Fiorentina. He's under contract with Fiorentina until 2022. Liverpool have also been interested. Nikola Milenkovic can play as a centre-back and a right-back. Would you take him at Man United? He's valued at £30 million. He's been at Fiorentina a few years now. Fiorentina got him back in 2017. They paid £5 million for him from Partizan. As you all know, I would love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to sign Erling Haaland, because obviously Solskjaer knows the player well. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer came out and said that he's following Erling Haaland's progress. And he did say, he's keeping in touch with Haaland. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. But there has been so many clubs in for him. Dortmund are demanding in the excess of £100 million. Haaland does have a release clause, but he doesn't become active until next year. But Erling Haaland is our centre-forward transfer priority. Apparently, Haaland's demanding wages of £350,000 from his next club. Borussia Dortmund recently gave us an update on his future, and Michael Zorg, Dortmund's sporting director, says Dortmund are prioritising finishing in the top 4 in order to keep Erling Haaland. But he's the type of calibre player Man United need, because Haaland's young, he's got a lot of development in him. He comes to the Premier League, he'll exceed expectations, and plus he will assure us goals. He'll give us that cutting edge. Since Haaland's arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation. He's been there 15 months. Dortmund paid £17 million for him, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. I think the players Man United could sell in the summer. I think there's a good chance that we'll sell Juan Mata. Juan Mata doesn't even get in our team now. He's actually out with injury at the moment. Wasn't part of the squad for the game against Milan yesterday. In the summer, Mata's current contract expires, but there is an option to extend his contract for a further year. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he wasn't surprised that Mata was linked to a move away from the club. I heard that 3 Italian clubs were in for him. Earlier on this season, Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But he's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got Mata in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Edison Cavani, I think there's a good chance he'll go. Solskjaer did actually say that Cavani's closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United. But prior to that, he said Cavani's future has not been decided. Edison Cavani's father came out the other week and said that Cavani is unhappy at the club and he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Now, reports in Argentina said that Cavani wants to leave Man United after 1 season and he wants to go to Boca Juniors on a 3-year contract. Now, earlier on this season, he said Cavani wanted to stay at Man United beyond this season, and Solskjaer said he was set for contract extension talks. Cavani's made an impact since he's come in. Hasn't been playing recently due to injury though. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. Matic, I think there's a good chance we'll sell him in the summer because he's not one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances, Matic, and he's had some good games. But Matic has always been a slow player. You know, he's ageing up as well, and he's been at the club now, is it almost 4 years? We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Martial, you know, there's a lot of United fans that are saying we should sell him in the summer. For the vast majority of this season, Martial has been out of form. You know, he's had chances, but he hasn't converted them. But actually, Solskjaer said earlier on this season he's backing Martial to rediscover his form, and he said he's been impressed with his work rate. We sell Martial in the summer, I reckon we'd get around £30 million. But Martial was good last season. What?
What time are you going? Bev's found me some identification. Your bills are 202, and then whatever you want to take out, but they've got to give you it.
Yeah.
Just been on radio. Football stadiums after lockdown, when they can go to games, you've got to show them proof you've had vaccine, otherwise you can't go in.
Right, okay.
So if you ever want to go to a game, you won't be able to unless you have vaccination.
Alright.
Oh. And you need to be off as early as you can because they close at 2.
I'm going to get ready now. What?
You should have that extra money in your account, what they owe you as well.
Yeah. But like I was saying in regards to Martial, yeah, good last season. He was good in his debut season under Van Gaal. He's been at the club over 5 years. Donnie Van Der Beek. Now, recent narratives have come out about him saying that he wants to quit Man United after 1 season due to lack of game time. And apparently he said he wanted to showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future. But apparently Donnie Van Der Beek feels loved at the club. Van Der Beek's returned, but yeah, didn't play any part yesterday night. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer made an admission regarding Van Der Beek, saying that he is unhappy at the club due to his lack of game time. But he promised him more game time at Man United. Ronald de Boer actually urged Donnie Van Der Beek to leave Man United at one point to boost his chances for the Euros. ESPN said back in January we rejected several loan offers for Van Der Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. But he is a good player. You know, we got him in a deal worth £40 million, and he's versatile because he can play in 3 different roles. Phil Jones, I want him to leave this year. I'm surprised he didn't leave in January, but Solskjaer said, you know, he's going to be given a second chance. He's been out of injury for over a year. Jones is only the outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. Will we get rid of Romero? I think there's a good chance we'll sell De Gea in the summer, so we can then make Dean Henderson our first choice goalkeeper. Recent narratives said we're willing to listen to offers for De Gea. We sell De Gea in the summer, I reckon we'd get £50 million. That's still a lot more than what we paid for him. De Gea's obviously now back. Not so long ago he was self-isolating. And at one point he was out due to personal reasons. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer warned De Gea that his number 1 jersey was under threat. De Gea's been a long servant at the club. This is his 10th season at Man United. A few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, but in the last couple of years, he's made calamitous mistakes, and reflecting on that, he's become a liability. But De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain, he began his footballing career in Spain, and back in 2015, very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. De Gea has just 2 years left on his contract at Man United, and he's on £375,000 a week. But there's a lot of players we're going to keep at the club. And I think there's some players at Man United that do have long-term futures. Especially some of the young players. But yeah, later on today, your preview for the Leicester game in the FA Cup quarter-final will be coming up. I think the Europa League draw for the quarter-final is done today as well. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.